That one is kind of like, I want to get to work. So gather on, everybody. It's story time. Let's kind of go through this. Cameras, get them up and running. Let's kind of see what we can get out of this location. The cameras don't always necessarily have to be on me, by the way. So Jackie's already all over it.
Sorry.
We do have somebody just kind of sitting in that white truck, so just be mindful of that. Also be thankful, this is an empty parking lot for us. It's not always empty. And with a larger group like this for me, like, okay, you are not recording, tap the button again. I can see you should be flashing in the front.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. So, welcome to a parking lot, everybody. Congrats, you made it. I told you, I take you to weird spots. By the way, this is where I start withholding information. I will not be giving those of you with spirit box or communication devices questions like, what color was George Washington's white horse? You will be getting the answers from your spirit boxes. So, what is this place? This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues. So we don't need to keep Curtis like on the outskirts. We can actually come in a little bit.
All right, I'm listening.
You can hear it? All right, perfect. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than the rest of you. So we're going to move on. If I do not give those 2 gentlemen that recognition, they will do it for me in a very nasty message through a spirit box. I've seen it dozens of times. We will show respect while we're here. So I just give them their recognition. Let's talk to Eliza. Now, Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from when young ladies got married in colonial days from when Eliza came from, like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards. The reason why is her husband was over double her age when they married. It was creepy then, it's creepy now. So I'm just going to point that out. I don't think we have any couples here with that age gap, so I'm actually really glad for that. I've actually had to put my foot in my mouth a couple of times. So I haven't. But anyway, back to Eliza. She marries her husband, Charles, because her father is over in England where she's from, and he thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see him. Eliza did not believe he was dying, and instead she stayed put right here, got married. It is 1744, guys. You do not get married in that year to get a green card. We are not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. This is a true love story, believe it or not. Nothing horrific about this location. Maybe a few things. We'll talk about that later. However, moving on. She was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That is a plant that makes blue dye, that makes our blue jeans blue. So Jackie is wearing it from head to toe, everybody, just so you guys know, because that's why
This is the warmest outfit I brought.
I know. She knew we were coming here, apparently. Now, Eliza didn't know what to do with those seeds when she got them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not warm here all the time. When she figured it out, she learned how to make the dye from them and then moved it to a cash crop. She then got a hold of her dad overseas and told him that the rice plantations here were going downhill in price, that they were going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. That is something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to hand off like a focus question group to every person with a communication device. We're going to start with the 2 red ones. So that's going to be Cricket and Sarah. So you 2 are going to have the same set of questions. I want you to also keep in mind for everybody, all devices, we have 3 cameras running, my voice recorder, and 5 communication devices. You might ask a question, the answer can go anywhere. Even if it was just Pat and Jenny here, we would have at least 2 communication devices so that way we could verify what was going on. So back to the red spirit boxes. Eliza's death are going to be your major focus. She's pretty open about talking about it, but the 4 major questions we get answers to: how did you die? How old were you when you died? Where are you buried? And which president was a pallbearer at your funeral? So those are 4 majors that we get. So if you go rogue, be respectful, make sure that they're not yes/no questions. That's kind of the mentality behind this. So the Ouija board, so that would be Carrie and our word list. They're going to kind of work in tandem as well. So Carrie, you're going to be looking for Eliza's initials in order, no anagram of them whatsoever, ELP. The reason why is Jenny's going to be looking for the maiden name of L. The reason for that is because there's 2 Eliza wives they were back to back. First wife dies, he marries the one I just told you about. They both have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Figure out which one it is. As far as yours goes, Miss Lacey, do you see a mansion?
I could.
But is it here right now?
No.
Okay, so you're going to be focused on what happened to it. If you get the what, We normally will get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that tragedy occurred. And yes, I just gave you a clue that it is indeed a tragedy. Keep in mind, all of those answers can go to anybody else as well. Or you might be getting answers from them. The reason why I give you such simple questions, that only gives us 1 to 2 syllables at a time. So again, I'm kind of giving you like what it's able to feed to us. So I am going to keep Carrie behind to show her a few things about her device. Everybody else, let's spread out, and I will be with everybody through round robins to kind of see what's going on.
Cool.
Carrie gets to stay with me. So can I turn on? Absolutely. Get it unmuted. Get working already. I know you've been dying to do it. But you have it unmuted while it's on. All right. So we're gonna turn you up.
I got a 5.5.
Okay, so now don't tell me anything below that 5.5. I'll be with you.
Talk out loud to the ghost. You can't talk in your head to the ghost.
Yeah, they can't read your mind.
So just stare.
So we need to go around and we need to ask how did this mansion burn
Okay, so
down?
I'm trying to figure
Or
out
how
what happened to this mansion.
yeah.
Eliza, can you tell me what happened to the mansion? See anything?
Are you sitting here on the wall? I keep getting
Like right there, right?
on the wall. Yeah.
That's kind of freaky, right? Are
I
we?
want to ask Nick about it.
Oh, is it because you think it's like picking something up?
I think it might be hitting the tree a little bit. I don't know though, because like I'm not like that's definitely that.
Yeah, but like it's not on the tree.
It's not on the tree, and it's sometimes it's not.
Oh, now there's
there.
people.
Well, yeah, now there's people there.
Hey, Jackie, talk to it. You're always so.
I know. I was asking, are you sitting on the wall here? Are you watching us? You can show yourself. It's okay. It's not. There it is.
Oh, is this like the original gate?
I don't know. What? What?
I feel like I could have heard something, but I don't know.
What'd you hear?
That would be weird.
What did you think you heard? What
I
did you?
don't want to be crazy though.
What did you think you heard?
It could have. It's probably in my head.
No. What do you think you
swear
heard?
I think I heard "save me." That's what I thought I heard.
Mm.
I don't know. I could tell him. I could. But see, I guess the cool thing is he like can he go back, and not with this one.
I
hope
keep
she
like
turned out
I can't tell if it's the tree, but like I have gotten like a figure sitting there.
Okay. Because I saw something.
I know. It like
I have one of those. I want one of those. I've got most of the other stuff.
yeah.
Well, I don't do those.
No, me neither. I've never have don't. Yeah. Where did Nick go? Nick.
I don't want to be like in hot car. And I was standing like right where Jack.
Always your first person.
Yeah, it was
Don't
very
second guess
quiet.
it. Yep. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Brown.
It's just
Did you hear it? That was the only one that came over really super clear.
What was that one?
ground.
I keep getting like, and I don't know if it's the tree, but for the last few minutes, I'll occasionally get a figure sitting on the here.
So a couple of things on this.
Even
The small depth of the windowsill over there will probably be picked up
Oh, okay.
because it's a building in the distance. Those are layers to this
Yeah,
camera. It'll also pick up your shadow. So it's not a
Okay.
person on the ground, it's you.
Oh,
Just so you know.
yes, yeah.
But with this one, whenever there's branches involved, I
Yeah.
definitely kind of take a heat of warning. I look for the 3 dots. They
Yeah.
might be there because of the leaves. It's always going to try to make it look like a person.
Right.
Just so you know. But I will still take a screenshot of it and brighten it up. If there's
Yeah,
nothing
let's
there,
take a
I
look.
just move on.
Yeah.
So there's no point in showing you guys every screenshot that I
Right,
take because
right.
it'll be a shit ton.
Yeah, great.
So I only give you where I'm like, okay, this is a good possibility, or
Yeah.
I'm going to put my stamp of approval on it.
Okay.
So that's kind of the hierarchy that I use. I give you the guys the maybes, and then I definitely give you this is a definite person.
Okay.
In the event you have somebody in the distance, like say on that branch over there, and you're
Right.
not sure what's going on, this is picking up obviously
Yeah,
the wrought iron. But you could say, hey Eliza, if that's you that I can see, can you please raise your right hand for me? Like ask for something
Oh,
specific.
okay.
So that way you can
Interesting.
kind of get that interaction from it.
Yeah.
And that's usually my stamps of approval will
Okay.
normally come from that.
Okay, that's
So,
helpful. Thank you.
All right, where's my spirit box people? Sarah, what you got? You're going dark on me.
Interesting.
I heard like an inhale.
Creepy.
I feel like that could be important because it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
The ground one, he heard it say ground too.
Yeah.
It was like a male voice. And it was like ground.
I think it's just the people.
Out there?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's just them over there.
Yeah.
So how hard was Billy York Jim? That's the thing I was worried about.
I mean, the ladder is pretty steep, but you have like something to hold on to. I don't think it was too hard to navigate the ship.
No.
Okay, because that's what I was telling her. I knew it was supposed to be haunted, but
Yeah.
I wanted to go do it.
Oh, it's cool.
And y'all do
It
it?
was
What time
really
did y'all
cool.
go do
And
it?
7.
7 last night?
No, tonight.
Oh,
We were just there.
Just there, okay.
Yes, we
Okay.
got
Y'all
one
have a big
straight to
group?
here.
17 or 18 people.
Oh, was it bigger?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
See what's available tomorrow. Maybe we can go tomorrow evening.
Yeah, it was very cool.
It's cold up on the flight deck, especially if you go the 9 o'clock or whatever was next.
Yeah, the 9.
Oh, it's very
so, 'cause it's cool
windy,
enough out here.
but very cool to see even the planes, just the history. And I thought Dustin was so good explaining
guys.
Yeah,
stuff.
we had Dustin. He was awesome.
Go ahead and check it out and see what you see. Hey, y'all have done quite a few of these, the ghost tour things?
I love them.
We do too.
Yeah,
We've
they're
been
so
doing it
much
for
fun.
20 years.
Oh, I love that
This
so
is our
much.
girls trip every year.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite.
Go to, you Eureka Springs.
Eureka
Go to the
Springs.
Crescent. Oh man, we got some of the best stuff there.
The Crescent Eureka Springs. All right, that's helpful.
We got lots there.
Yeah.
Jefferson, Texas. A lot there.
Okay.
Excelsior. And the Emily Morgan in San Antonio.
Oh, Emily.
Mm-hmm. It was oh, we stayed in one of the surgical suites.
Oh gosh.
You wouldn't believe the stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah. Put those on your list.
Yes, I will. Thank you. I might need you to write them down for me, and we'll talk at the end. Yeah. Eliza, if that's you, can you raise your right hand?
Will you guys do this all?
We've been doing it for 20 years. Every year.
I love it so much.
That's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back over here.
It's not picking that up. That's the annoying thing. See, I just...
He said that's because we're getting used to
Hey, Lacey and I are on a ghost tour.
Isn't that?
It's my mom. Oh.
Wall. It's funny.
I know, we have them. We went from one tour to the next. So, yeah. So much fun. Okay, I'll send it. All right, bye. Oh,
Let's go back to the back, everybody. Let's get these all tied up.
Let's get these all tied up.
should I stop recording?
Go ahead and give your hand a break. Get them up and running.
So you can hit the record, yeah.
Get everybody grouped around so you can see what's going on. So Pat, starting with your baseline in here, you're going to be looking for anything above an 8. We do have lamp posts near us. They will give off enough EMF up to a 7. So I want to make sure we start off with an 8. What did we hear or see along the way? What do we got going on? What did we hear? 21 and 3. 21 and 3.
heard the man.
The man. So when we have numbers like what she just gave me, that 21 and 3, I kind of look at that as dates. That could be like March 21st, it could be March 1721, it could be a lot of different dates. So I'm just going to be looking at that as a whole, just so you guys know. What else did we hear?
I heard loud, and I heard some Irish Jaden.
I just heard a loud shout that said no.
I heard that too. Right. Interesting. Any words coming out of there for us, Gary? Let's see. How's our word list coming, Jenny?
Cause, unique, custom, and where.
Yeah, I got nothing. All right. I'm honest with you guys. I hope you guys appreciate it.
It may come, though.
It may come. And a lot of times when I get that list back, like last night, for example, I thought we were only going to have like 2 or 3 terms that came out of that were going to be fruitful for us, but when I got back to the office, there was like 8. Like once I really looked at it as a whole, I'm like, oh, we were here at this time. They didn't tell me about this one. Let's type up the note.
When you were
I know, I keep trying to get it to.
Yeah.
said revelation.
All right, so let's talk about why we're here. We're going to get you on mute for sure. Every ghost tour comes down here, guys. By the way, I don't know if I told you, but I do change this up every year so the repeat ghost hunters don't always go to the same spaces. I tried to take the Pinckney Mansion site where we just left out of my route, but it's really hard because that place is probably one of the most active places I've ever had the pleasure of being in as far as investigating. But I was getting nasty ghost hunters. That's the longest one that I had. So I stopped going there for a few weeks and gave it a break and tried out other places to kind of see how they were working out. But I go back there every night and I just tell her who's coming with me, how many people, and I give them all of your names if I know them. See, the only person I didn't know tonight was Caden because of the way they booked their tickets was different than the rest of you, where you have to put in everybody's names. It's just a respect factor. And it was just kind of the pact I made with her when I told her I was going to be coming back with my groups again. But again, we had a pretty decent thing going on over there. We have some really good clues for me to start off with when I get back to the office for a spot check. So kudos to you. Thank you for being respectful to Eliza. Appreciate it too. This location I was going to take out because every ghost tour comes down here. It is a staple. However, this guy does not leave me alone. Everybody's been telling his story for 40 to 50 years, literally dozens and dozens of times. And I'm the only guy that can communicate back. So it's kind of what I found out. I tried to take it out and
I go over here.
No slacking on the job.
I know, right? You're fired. So this location is called Philadelphia Alley now. It used to be called Jewelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because dueling was illegal in the 1700s and they had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one. By the way, for those of you with cameras, if other tours are going to come down here, which I don't foresee that happening on a Sunday night, they're going to creep out of that ivory wall right here. So there's a staircase, or they're going to come in the way we came in. Just so you know, in the event that a tourist is coming by and just walking through the beautiful alley, we will part ways, lower our cameras, and let them cut through. So just kind of be respectful of everybody walking through. So anyway, here's how this story goes. I'm just going to give you a few extra details because you're ghost hunting. It's not a campfire marshmallow ghost tour. Like I said several times. Yes, I use that all the time. It rolls off the tongue really fast. But anyway, a doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you that are still listening to your spirit boxes while we're here, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. However, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of the cash flow that she just got, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor as he comes here. It's not. On his way into town, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver today. So kind of think of that in that. Aiden's like laser focused. Okay.
I just heard some creepy shit. It's like relevant.
What'd you get?
Well, I'm a firefighter. I heard fire truck and then like get out.
I heard
And
get
it,
out.
but then after that, I started like freaking out. I'm just like breathing a little bit, and it said try to stay calm.
Oh, okay.
That's a
So
lot.
I don't normally bring this up, but I am going to tell you why this is called
Did you
Philadelphia
say
Alley.
something? I'm not getting anything.
Philadelphia, the city, actually helps Charleston financially with our many fires that we actually have had here. To get rid of the name Duelers Alley, they named it after a city that helped us financially to get us out of the financial wreckage that we were in. So I'm not surprised that the firefighter that we have, here's the word fire truck, had a little bit of trouble breathing and then said try to calm down. So again, it's just very interesting that I gave this to her and you're the one getting all of those.
It's weird. It is really.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and that's the only reason I would normally kind of tell you guys that stuff later, but that
Get it, girl.
Claire, you guys are in my way.
We're getting in the
I usually
way.
preach all night long to not look like a YouTuber.
Somebody get the camera.
So where was I? Oh, the really bad Uber driver, right? So somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen to this newcomer coming into town, and then the person walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. So we were getting the letters RI all the time from our regular spirit boxes, so we bought Carrie's ones, so that way I could see it specifically letter by letter. We have had the letters RI show up here about half a dozen times when I bring up Ralph's name in the past year, about the length of time that I've had that device. So take that for what it's worth. I like to give you guys stats to show you how relevant these things are. Back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's gonna try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can go rent a room from them. You'll be safe and good to go. Doc was okay with it. Took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. He's doing pretty well, actually. So Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down here so they could be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate the damn story. Men whistled all the time when they were happy gentlemen back in the 1700s, in case you get the reference of why they called him the Whistling Doctor. However, every haunted city you will ever visit in the future has a cliche whistling ghost. Ours just happens to be a dog. So that's why I hate the damn story. It's a cliche. But there is some actual relevance to these whistles. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. This is why they do it, just so you guys know where I'm getting to. They go see plays, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So they're arguing one night on their way home from a play, Richard III, about the actress they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town, like I've already said, so he goes to the newspaper, and he tells the newspaper to place an ad telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Doc saw this ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind, this argument started over an actress. I just like to point that out of how dumb these arguments were back then. So the two gentlemen came down, back to back. They took 10 paces away from each other. He turned, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. However, Ralph has one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Yeah, kind of a cool piece, right? Doc fell to the ground. He didn't die, but his friends picked him up. They took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then are a lot different than what we know of them now. He's also a doctor. College just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. So obviously he failed because he died. Every ghost story that comes down here tells you to listen to the whistles. For those of you without spirit boxes, you can all hear how quiet it is down here. It is always this quiet down here. It could be a busy, bustling Saturday afternoon in July, and this is what the alley sounds like, unless of course there's other tourists down here. Unfortunately, therefore, there's nobody down here with us. They always tell you to listen for the whistles, but we have 3 cameras running, my voice recorder. If we're going to capture an actual disembodied whistle, it's going to come through one of those 4 devices. However, the 2 spirit boxes, I will tell you, dozens and dozens of times we've had the whistling part of the song show up and the word doctor from the commercial immediately after. I don't look for these things. You guys know what minute increments that I look at these recordings at. It happens pretty much on a weekly basis. It's him just saying, look, the guy will not leave me alone. I love the doc, but come on, man, we got other people we got to talk to too. So if you're going to try this on your own and use your voice recorders from your phone, if you're recording sideways, we're going to have a sideways video.
Oh, I just thought maybe that would work.
Yeah, you guys all gonna know now. YouTube doesn't like the flippies. By the way, with
Okay,
the
got it.
cameras, I splice all of your videos together from each camera, so you have 3 videos, and one video from each camera. So with YouTube, if something goes sideways, they're not gonna change it for me.
Got it.
Sorry, wasn't scolding you.
No, I got it.
But anyway, using your voice recorder on your phones, just keep in mind that every local knows this story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Main Street will always throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single time. And especially ever since I got thrown out of here, I know this group's going to appreciate this part of the story because this is the reason why we go to the next location. Yes, I got in trouble down there. Let's talk about it. So the alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall up there. The reason why is because this was Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. Cows, chickens, and goats are down here, and they were just penned in with that wall. So what does that mean for you guys and how I got in trouble? Those bricks down there are older than the ones we're standing on. It started down there. So those bricks were sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there in one of those bricks, and and fingerprint swipes and others. They used to take my groups all the way through to go show them a piece of history. There's nothing paranormal about it. You guys already know how I feel about cemeteries. They're not there. That's the last place you're going to find that child ghost. So, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10, same size as you guys roughly, is huddled around one brick waiting for something to happen with all the gear that I handed out. I'm trying to push them along because I know nothing's going to happen, and I'm also trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We were outside of his dining room window. He was not happy. He came out screaming. My daughter, who was probably 13 at the time, was also on the tour that night and thought it was great because her father was getting yelled at. That was hysterical. So, we moved on, and the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this, and you guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You've scarred me for life to work on Thanksgiving, so I don't do it. The day after that was the 28th of November. I called my partner that I had at the time that drugged me into tourism, and I told him what happened, trying to figure out what to do next. He laughed at me too because he said, Nick, you're only allowed to go down halfway. It's residential after that, and it's out of bounds. I didn't realize that. So obviously there was a complaint filed and told me that I was going to have to reroute my group that night. I don't have a story for the next location because I've never had anything happen over there. So I was honest with my group and told them that. I said, I've never had anything happen at the next location, and I'm a vampire guy, not in the pirates. Obviously we're talking about pirates next in case you didn't pick up on that. So before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. I was like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get up and around the corner. I told them a little bit I did know about piracy because I only had a few hours to do some quick whatever's going on over there. Somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300. I don't know what that one means. Wrote it down, do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020, and Bonnie's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720, the exact 300th anniversary of her piratery. I normally get this kind of reaction of the wows and the jaw drops. I was actually pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. I read a lot of fiction. I read a lot of nonfiction. All of my degrees are in writing. When I'm doing anything, especially this, and researching, I like facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. That's a problem, because pirate lore was basically written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard, basically, which is the same time period as Anne Bonny. That's a problem. That means I have to read more damn books on piracy than I ever wanted to in my entire life on a subject I'm not even interested in. However, I've read more books on pirates, watched more documentaries. I even play video games with different versions of the story, so I know exactly what the hell's going on. I am kind of a small pirate expert at this point, particularly focused on Anne Bonny and her companions. You guys will see that. Holy cow, it's not even Saturday night. That lady's carrying a blanket around. She stole it from her room. Obviously didn't come prepared, no coats. I didn't say that out loud, I sure as hell did. I will tell you that everything that we're going to talk about at the next location, it came from a minimum of 2 resources. So I will be quick with that story, as quick as I can, because it can be a lot of details, and then you guys will be able to spread out, obviously be listening in once we get over there. And I'll kind of do my round robins with that location and kind of see how things are going. The roll of the dice if she'll be there or not. I'll explain that once we get to this location, but remember, you will be getting things from Dr. Ladd as well. He will basically piggyback onto us and kind of, see what's going on over there. Anything I need to know about before we leave the space? Did we hear anything? Did we see anything?
Yeah, when you were talking about the doctor, I heard doctor as you were talking.
Okay.
I heard murder. I heard, I've been hearing a bunch of stuff, honestly. It's been hard to keep up with it. I've been hearing stuff that's, like, personal, too. Like, it's kind of freaky. I don't know.
Personal for you?
Yeah. It's weird. Like, that firefighter thing, I feel like I've been listening to you, but I've been listening to this.
Yeah, it's hard to
And it's been, like, almost like it's, like, directing everything towards me. It's not, like,
anything toward what I just told you.
yeah, it's all, yeah.
So I will tell you, if I
It's
get,
been bouncing between that and, like, the doctor stuff. Like,
if I have a vet on the tour, or somebody that has lost, obviously, some comrades overseas,
yeah,
it
like,
doesn't
I
matter the
lost
story I
somebody,
tell.
and that's what it's,
You can tell me about that as well.
Yeah.
I do my round robins. So, Sarah, did you get anything?
I heard get out.
Get out.
You got it.
I usually throw that shit away.
You got it.
But I'll kind of take it at this point. So, I know you were on mute. Anything on our word list or Ouija board today? Nothing going on? Any numbers, Pat?
No.
Okay, Jenny?
Remind an establishment and property. And discovery.
Reminding you to maybe you're missing something.
Yeah.
Property.
I am actually. Actually, perfect point. The gate behind me was the reason why we stopped here. Let's gate over here. You guys kind of stopped ahead of time. I always tell you guys what happens at the gate.
You don't like it right there?
So let me point out a few things about this gate, because not all the tours talk about why this gate is here. It's a property line now, because this is not the same property anymore. However, the gate wasn't always there. Remember I told you that there was a wall the way we came in? In the event there was a loser to the duel down this way, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
So I call this the death gate. Otherwise, they have to carry the dead body all the way down to the empty Queen Street and then double back to be able to get to the cemetery before they can go to the So I like to tell you guys why the wrought iron was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall. But the other words were mined and property. Again, this is now a property line because the other side of this actually belongs to St. Philip's Church. So this is obviously belongs to the city at this point, but that is St. Philip's Church property. That's the courtyard. Actually, there will be times where I'm trying to like do my whole spiel over here with Dr. Ladd, and there's a wedding reception over here. It happens all the time. No other words that came out here today? It. Still spells something. I'm gonna write it down. I don't think it means anything. But that's how I learned. It. Interesting piece. All right, you guys ready to learn about rated R pirates?
Yeah.
Nobody got my dad joke? That means I have to enhance the dad joke. Are you ready? Yeah. If the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, then what is it? R. If it's not R,
If it's not R,
then what is it? It must be the C.
must be
That was good.
walk away. Just walk
You know what's funny is the past couple times I've actually told the extent of that joke. Somebody will go, well, they're
We were like standing there.
what color is your the red one? Yes, you're the one. Just wondering. So I heard Morgan that just came out of the spirit box here. What else do we have going on? Anything crazy?
Nothing.
Jenny, anything? Nothing? Yeah, cameras, let's get these things up and running. We're going to talk about the history here, and then we're going to spread out, like I said. So with this location, I'm actually excited about a 2.5 here, just so you know. The closer you get to those bushes, we do corking meters to electrical poles that will influence between a 4 to a 6. Just kind of have that idea. The biggest orb I've ever caught with that camera cricket has been at this location, 14 years. It's been here, and it was larger than my head and intelligent. So it wasn't just kind of like a swooping thing. It moved in, stopped, turned, moved up, disappeared. Like that's kind of how it went. Crazy stuff. We're gonna see how Carrie does with this spirit box. Which, by the way, our next location, which is our last location, is completely different than everything we've been doing so far. For those of you that are not familiar, we will be doing the Estes method. So I will explain what all of that is. I will just say that 3 of you will be involved, and 2 of you will be blindfolded, and another person will be in virtual reality. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more before we leave the space. Look at you 2 looking like, oh shit, what's happening?
No, that's not.
we like it.
So, with that said, let's talk about why we're here. The little tiny building up there with the crosses on it, one of you have already asked me if that's a church. That is not a church. Those are not crosses. That is a gunpowder magazine. It's a museum now, so if you ever need to get out of our heat or cold, it's a good 5 tickets to go spend. I'm not an advocate, it's just a great idea. But anyway, so the crosses on there are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what those are, they're turnbuckles. In the event we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, you tighten them up, it tightens the building, it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring these ones up specifically is because that's the first sets that Charleston ever put in. You guys have been seeing them all over town in the form of lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit, because that's just kind of what we do here. But that is actually part of the reason why we're here, is those earthquake bolts. The reason that's the first set that they put in is that's because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here simply because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So it's a familiar. For those of you that watch the TV shows, you may have seen that Boo Buddy. It's a teddy bear. It's got that little blinky light device inside of it, and they use that to try to attract a child ghost because they would recognize the teddy bear as a toy. Think of that concept with the building. We don't have any buildings this old. The hope here is it's a 50-50 roll of the die if she's going to be here or not. So let's kind of get into her story. Again, I will speed through this one, but slow down on the twist because this is a female pirate and there's going to be some raunchy, randy twists coming your way. So, 1708, young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Everybody with me so far? Young lady, and the reason why they're coming here, by the way, is because they're running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off was that wife that she kicked them out of the damn country, by the way. I just like to kind of point that out for gentlemen that came here with the ladies. Be nice to them. They'll kick you up to Canada. So, Carrie's not even listening. She's like so focused. I love it.
I'm trying to.
Go for it. We've gotten some nasty, like, we've gotten sexual terms here. So don't be surprised if we
so
get a
there's
couple
adultery
of,
there.
yeah. The adultery is a little light for what I expect out of this location. So, now, with that said, they landed in Georgetown. Dad bought a plantation in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. It's about an hour and a half north. And then Mom died pretty quickly after they landed. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. That's basically why the building is so familiar. So let's take a step back to Ireland for just a second so I can give you the mentality of this young lady as we move through her story. They say when Anne was only 7, 8, or 9 years old, remember pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So again, imagine a kid this tall killing somebody. Sorry, I didn't mean to kill you, Carrie. But kind of imagine that, and then let's move forward. The building's done in 1713, but by 15, just a couple years later, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world during these times. So the first guy she fell in love with, I said the word first slowly because there's a handful. That's what makes the story so damn good. And we're going to talk about every one of them. First guy is James Bonny. I saw like a light clipper over there. James Bonny, you already know where this one's going because I've already told you her pirate name. Dad didn't approve, he's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica, they got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny. Again, you get it. However, when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow, like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. He's a coward. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. I'll keep track for you because it's a good handful. Guy number 2 is named John Rackham. Everybody calls this guy Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, by the way, in case you were wondering. He's a real person. Calico Jack has his own crew. He has his own ship and wants to be part of the crew. Cannot put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Thank you for keeping it family friendly. I did not expect that from this group. That was quick too, 2 of you. So at any rate, by the way, I normally don't like, I'm not a big advocate for like all the other tours around town, but if you want to take another fantastic storyteller on a tour, that's your guy. His name is Mike Brown. Owns a company just like me. It's called Pleasing Terrors. He is the creepiest damn storyteller I've ever met in my life, and that's saying something considering I have a master's degree in storytelling, literally. And he has been doing this for 28 or 29 years now, and he is a native of Charleston. You can point at a leaf and he'll tell you where the whole damn thing came from. That kind of gives you an idea of how good he is. Love that guy. Again, not an advocate for other tours around town, really not. But him, yeah, I take his tour once a year just as a refresh, just because I love to hear him talk. But anyway, Curtis is like, who the hell is this guy? Like, I'm surprised. I was really expecting some backlash from you tonight, by the way.
I don't know.
But
I'm a business owner. I respect that.
but in a good way. Like, I wanted
good
it.
stuff.
I was like, oh, he's going to give us some good shit. I can dish it right back. So where was I? Oh, bad luck, right? So Jack makes a deal with Anne. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of my crew. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Rhode Island. To hire from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But we're all adults here. Put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's gonna get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's gonna figure out she's a girl.
That was so 200 years ago.
I know, right? So before she starts to show her pregnancy, he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here. These are some friends of mine. They'll help you out. We'll figure it out later. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happens to the child. None of my research has ever discovered it, too. I mean, just kind of keep that in mind. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. Everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship now. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female. Dressed like a male. Down pirate.
Okay.
Part of the crew, the Calico Jack just captured. So now they have 2 females trying to be males on the same ship. It's kind of a rarity, right? Now, her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. We have gotten both of her pirate names while we're here. So Anne and Mary became friends, maybe lovers. We're not really certain about the whole scenario because it is obviously a couple hundred years ago. But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of Navy ships to come take down one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1 bullet guns cannot take on a whole fleet of ships with cannons. Are you feeling okay, by the way?
My hand's just cold.
Oh, okay. She's like holding it up. I didn't know if you were just gonna like hurl. I'm like, is she okay? Just checking on you. So obviously they get arrested because they can't take on the whole fleet of ships. And Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, Jack, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up all the time on your communication devices. A lot of times you guys hear a dog barking on a spirit box before we even enter the space. Happens all the time. Now, the judge wants to see the 2 men, quote unquote, that fought back so valiantly on their own. She's already tried at home, Calico Jack and those drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They are dead and gone. So the 2 ladies go in front, they reveal their gender to the judge, and he does not give a shit that they are female. They are still pirates. He's still gonna hang them. They scream, "We plead our bellies," which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know anything about her after her pirate career. That's not speculative fiction. So, Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a jail. So use your own imagination on that one. Most books tell you it was fever. I'm going to bet it was scurvy. So I'll say let's make it romantic and make it nasty, right? So, I'm not going to control this environment like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. I'm just going to tell you a few things that I left out. You can ask whatever you want to here. This is also a place where I tell you if you drink rum and you smoke, have at it. This is the place to attract that crowd. So kind of keep that in mind. That's why I was actually excited about hearing the word Morgan. Don't know that Captain Morgan was a rum back then, but I'm like, hey, it's a bunch of rum. Here's what I left out, just so you have something to work with. The names of Anne Bonny's parents. I did not tell you what those were. The father and the mistress. The city that Anne grew up in Ireland. I didn't say what that was. The name of Calico Jack's ship and the color of Anne Bonny's hair. Anything else you want to ask? If I can prove it, great. Otherwise, it'll be just a private conversation between you and Anne. Remember, you will get things from Dr. Ladd, and also while we're here. And again, I get excited about a 2.5. You get anything, I'm stoked. We actually had a little bit of a 5 here last night. That's high for this location. This is not the Pinckney Mansion, for sure. I think that about covers everything. By the way, the wall behind you, I'm still getting you guys mixed up.
I'm Jackie.
Jackie, thank you. Oh, why?
Lacey.
Yeah.
I'm the
So
tall one.
Lacey, this wall right here is not your friend. It's gonna look like a bunch of army men all the way down the wall with all the damn leaves on there.
For a minute. I was like, why don't I want to be
It's just not your friend. All right, Carrie, have you heard anything yet?
I thought I heard talk dirty to me, like poison, but it was hard to hear and it was so quick.
Yeah.
It was the very beginning of the song, like the first few beats. Oh, not that much.
Well, it's a matter of the lyric.
Yeah.
It's not the guitar riffs or the artist. It's the action. Like if you heard the phrase "talk dirty"
Right,
to me,
no.
I'd be excited.
Oh, thanks for
Gotcha.
name that tune. I'm your girl.
Later, like you guys were like singing it, like holy shit, like no, no, awesome.
We did.
We love you.
With this one, you are definitely looking for her initials, A, B, or M, for Mary Reed. Of course, Mark Reed is the same initials. If you get any words being spelled out, obviously let me know. I definitely want to get that thing cranked up in here, but it's not one right. Yeah. So perfect, you're ready to go. And it's engagement, I'm telling you, I'm going to give this guy a job later on.
What is that building now? What's this building now?
I don't know.
It's creepy.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, very creepy.
It's like some place where they do, what do they call where they take people and do the circles?
Oh, a seance.
Yes.
Yeah. Mandy? Mandy? I thought I heard Bambi.
making a movie now?
Yeah, focusing on my TikTok.
I'm hungry again, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
You are?
I definitely would be down to get food. And eat in bed. Yum. Look at that big old building. I like that. I like that a lot. Let me get a little bit of that. Heavy.
But like, it also still sounds like Mandy or whatever it was.
Yeah, I would survive.
You're hearing that.
Come on, talk to us. No. It's like, it's just silent.
I forgot the questions that he asked. So.
Are you getting anything?
I got Soldier.
Okay. So some of those you want to know.
Same idea I had. I was walking over here to get that shot.
Spooky.
I wonder. So I looked up how much is 50 feet. I was like, no shit. That's pretty cool stuff. They look
Ejected?
ejected? Like from an airplane ejected? I don't know. Just want to make sure I had the right word.
I've heard the same song, Paint the Town Red, twice. Like that exact phrase.
That's her hair color.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And
So just
then,
small connections.
What was it?
He's got a shit ton, Carrie. Go ahead.
Thomas's came out clear, and 11.
Oh, we
You
love
know why
11.
you heard promises. We get it here all the time, and it's not due to any pirate story whatsoever. So, two of the Charles Pinckneys that we talked about earlier, the husband of Eliza and the nephew of Eliza are both buried across the street. The nephew introduced the Pinckney's promise to the Constitution. So, how many did Anne have? Do you remember?
Oh, how many children did they have?
So how many do you remember how many? I told you. No. 1 in Cuba, 4 after. For pirate crew, so 5 total.
Okay.
Yeah, now that thing's picking up. 11, I don't know what that is. I'll dive in and see.
Really fuzzy.
But yeah,
But
promises.
those were the two that came really clear.
We get it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was able to like come up with
Everyone's like so into it.
I know, I love it so much.
So we can
It's your dream. I know, it's your dream.
My dreams come true.
Is it though? Yeah. So here's gonna suck for you. You're not getting your own recording. You're gonna have a brand new one. You're gonna have to start all over again.
But the thing is, it's like it's been like saying like relative. Like I've been thinking.
Especially with all the kids, they childbirth killed them lots of times.
A lot, yeah. I mean, to live that age, to go through what she went through.
I like the
What else
building.
we got going on over here? Curtis, you got anything
What
weird?
makes this thing kind of work? I mean, it's like somebody got mad.
So let me tell you about the aesthetics of that, because it is meant to try to scare people.
Oh, okay.
It will growl and do all kinds of vibrating bullshit. I turn that stuff down because we don't need that. If this is all going orange up here, it means it just recognized the word and it's going to give it to you.
Oh, okay.
That's all that means.
So I had two words,
What were they?
tearing apart.
Like in one phrase or separate? Tearing apart.
Tearing apart. And then Idol and David. Well, he likes you evidently.
I've had David here and at our last location a lot. And not just from this, from a multitude of different types of communication. No idea who he is.
Who are you, David? We need another clue.
No, right?
Is he after that red-headed woman? That blue.
Maybe.
That blues.
Floozy.
I knew her on the ship.
Number 5. He was number 5.
We just didn't know about it.
I'm sure was involved with a lot of other.
Maybe David was her
She knew them.
I'm sure.
Knew them all. She's affiliated with them all. Do I know about them all being lovers together? I don't. I only know about the ones I told you about specifically.
Yeah. It's only a sin.
Right.
Can only assume. Yeah. For that day and age of hush fuss. Life she's living.
Whoever was in the little box was angry. Good, buddy.
What do you got? Anything? What, nothing?
What is the machine Caden uses?
He's got the thermal.
No, the one before that he was listening to.
The same one that she has right now. It's identical.
He's getting a lot of.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
Well, I don't see Caden on the thermal anymore.
Josh Swanson or anything?
I don't know, but I'll write it down just because we are next to a graveyard. We never know.
last name is Swanson.
And then Bader and
And her husband's name is John.
This is getting weird.
He's a pain in our ass. He's alive.
Is there a Josh in your family?
I'm trying to think. I
That's
can't.
not with us anymore.
No.
Cousin?
Not that's no that I know of. I got a cousin, but he's still alive.
Lisa's, to say it, the Swanson put thing up here.
J.D. Dennis.
Terry, you got anything? What about you two?
Permission,
Permission.
white. And I also got a countdown from 5. That's weird. All the way?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
It's a volume.
Sounds like we need to go.
Very weird.
Over there, I got 80s rock.
80s rock? Is that what you heard it specifically?
Huh?
Did you hear 80s rock specifically?
Yes.
Oh.
It's your 80s rock station.
Oh.
Do you remember how old Anne Bonny was when she died?
84.
84.
I've been hearing that too.
It was in the 80s.
The 80s rock.
Yeah, over there I heard it.
What's funny is, was it last night? Maybe a couple nights ago? Somebody heard the number 82. And they're like, I know she was 84 when she died. I'm like, but you're missing the point. She died in 1782.
Oh.
Yeah, born in 1698, died in 1782. Believe it or not, she was actually older, same time period as Eliza. So all of the people we've talked about so far are all from the same time period. They all may have well have known each other. So
They do now.
definitely not. Except for Big John. I mean, he didn't know obviously Eliza when he was alive. I'm into that. Anything else crazy coming out of yours? Anything crazy, Cricket, that you've seen? I know you've been watching. I've been seeing you peering at it.
Negative over here.
I say we get this one wrapped up and put a button on it. So Caden's been getting like a lot of like personal things and seeing like a lot of real-time moments kind of mentality. Just as an example, I used a hand reference. You know, these two have been holding hands for most of the night, and when they haven't, he heard the phrase, "Why aren't you holding hands?"
Okay.
Yeah, so things like that have been happening to him all night long. So you guys will hear about that conversation on your regular audio. So I don't like to kind of put you on the spotlight when these things are happening. and kind of keep that in real time. But again, that's why we record everything. So all the conversations we all had together all night, you guys are all going to hear them. So again, I try to make sure everybody gets involved. We are going to head over to the wall so I can put my bag down for a second, and then I will give you the answers for this location, and I will explain the Estes method to you all, because you all are going to get it.
I don't want to be blindfolded.
All right, let's go over this way.
Oh, do you already know what this is?
No, he said somebody's blindfolded. I said I don't want to be blindfolded.
I don't mind.
I think it's when people ask questions and other people are blindfolded.
His plan is going to be to do this.
This is, he said this, and I am scared.
I like the boxes. I like the talking. I think that's
I know,
like all
it's
the
fun.
coincidences.
Yeah. I think it's when someone's blindfolded and has.
And the other, yeah. I
that
like
on
that.
and people are asking questions
I like that.
and they get answers. I don't know. I could be wrong.
So here's how this is going to work. Those of you with cameras, by all means, keep it kind of break. So we're going to talk for a few minutes. So I feel like, I don't know that we had Anne Bonnie here specifically. I am actually more excited about the word promise that was heard out of the spirit box, only because Charles Pinckney, the nephew of Eliza, is buried across the street, and he did introduce the Pinckney's promise to the Constitution. It is something that we get here often, so I was able to kind of like tell her exactly why she heard the word promise here. Then of course all the things that Caden has been crazily getting. Again, I'm going to have to talk to him more later on, I'm sure. What sucks for him, as I kind of explained, he's not even going to get his own recording back to analyze it. He's going to get a whole new one. It's so fresh. The poor guy's got to do this shit twice. Just feeling bad for him. I do this for a living, and I love doing it. But for him, he's like tortured by it. Look at him. He's smiling from ear to ear. You guys remember the heated warning that I gave you guys at the top of the night, the headache, the nausea, the dizziness? That's a real thing for me, and it started with this location. Let me explain. A couple years ago, month of September, it's a little bit warmer than where we are now, so just about a few degrees, and I took my group to the back like I always do, so I stayed out of the way of the other tours, and the kid next to me, and I call him a kid because he's like 21, maybe 20, he starts to pass out. Like he's dropping like a wet noodle. I gotta pick this kid up by his armpit. Like he's going down quick. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him. So we brought him over to this wall. We sat him down right where Jenny's at. We got him some water. He was feeling better. And they were okay for me to continue. This used to be the last stop. So I was like, all right, we'll see how this goes. So I told the story of Anne Bonny, and I spread everybody out. And I used to tell like 3 stories here. So they were all over the place. And these 2 guys are still seated. And they pull me aside and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. I have 2 females dressed like males. Just like Anne and Mary in the story on the tour. Weirdness, right?
Wow.
So definitely these are things that happen, but it's still unexplained at this point. So it makes sense. But this is the weird shit that I see. Normally, if I have psychics and mediums on my tour, I try to make sure that they do not get a headphone spirit box because I don't want to interfere with what they're getting. It's exactly what happened last night. The young lady that I had there, and normally I could debunk a lot of self-proclaimed psychics and they get pissed off and leave the tour, and I'm fine with that. But this one, like, I felt like she was pretty on the legit, but she didn't tell me anything. Like, she was just a little worried about having a spirit box. And she told me later on that she kind of is a little bit of an empath and been taking some mediumship courses, and I was like, well, kudos to you for taking it to the next level. We took away her spirit box and gave it to her husband. So I try not to interfere with what she's already getting. You guys are getting the point of why I have you guys show up early. I want to know where my jokesters are. You guys are getting my point. I do that for character, obviously, with the devices, but it's also for safety reasons. Most psychics that I don't know about, they will pass out from a spirit box. I've seen it dozens of times. Yeah, first time that happened, I was in CPR class the next day because I was still new at this, everybody. You got to remember, I'm like, oh shit, what did I sign up for? So let's talk about Anne Bonny real quick, and then I will tell you exactly what's going to happen at the next location because I know some of you are worried. Getting a bunch of angry stuff going on already. All this was, you got that word well. It's probably going to show up like 2 more times. Like, well.
Damned. Got damned? You're damned.
Well, damn.
Well, damn.
This is one of the few pictures of Anne Bonny you can find where she actually has a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare her breast to show the men that she just shot they were about to die by the hand of a woman.
Wow.
Oh,
I think I know.
I'm
pretty sure.
No,
that's
She's
wrong.
flashing her titties. Fuck yeah.
Don't be angry moms. You guys are getting the point. Obviously, her hair color is red. You do hear the phrase "paint the town red." So I'm actually kind of excited about that. Again, that's a common one. And I throw that out there to people that are struggling with a spirit box because it's an easy grab. It's 1 syllable, and the word red is very common on the radio. So The names of her parents, William Cormac, Mary Brennan. We did not get either of those names tonight, and no, it was not another subliminal trick with the name Mary. We just happen to have two in the story. Mary Brennan, by the way, was a servant for the Cormac family, and if you wanted to guess how Dad met Mom, you would be correct. So that's another 30-minute scandal. We're going to skip it. Now, it's not relevant to the building. That's why we moved on. I just find it very interesting. The name of the city where she grew up, anybody want to guess? Ireland. We're at in Ireland. Nothing?
Right.
Cork, Ireland. So, Cork County, Cork, Ireland.
That's where my family's
So
from.
That's
That's
a new
cool.
question that I just threw in there because we were getting it like consecutively, like on different spirit boxes, which I found very interesting. I also like to show you what Calico Jack looked like because everybody wants to see what they based Johnny Depp off of. It's funny and hysterical. Now, Calico Jack was named that because of the jackets that he wore. They came from the British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, so textiles are very important to the Rackham family. Calico Jack basically means fancy jacket. That's what the interpretation of Calico Jack means. Depending on which book on pirates you're reading, it also means fancy pants. I don't see the correlation, but whatever. They can have it. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I do not expect the word Kingston to come out of any of your spirit boxes except for Jackie and Lacey's. The reason why is because theirs is going to pick up more disembodied voices than the other ones that we have. So, the rest of you, the word king would suffice here. One night last week, we actually had the word king show up twice as we entered the space. Like two different spirit boxes heard two different phrases with the word king in it. I was actually super excited because we don't always get it. It's kind of like what color is a big red barn mentality, and we get the word blood. So I actually got really excited, especially since it came from two different people. And they were two different phrases. So, the Estes method, let's talk about it. We're going to be blindfolding Mr. Caden, first off, because obviously he's very good at this, and it's going to be torture. And then the other one is going to be Carrie. So, see? You thought you were evaded this. So the two of you are going to be blindfolded, and what's going to happen is I'm going to sit you two down on a bench. Did you two decide who's going to be the third person?
You want to do the? Okay.
Okay, so Pat will be your third person. I'll explain her part in just a moment. But the three of you will be sitting on a bench. I will take the rest of the people and teach them the history of the location, so that way the three of you don't have a clue what's going on. That's the whole point. So when I come back, you two will be blindfolded, and you'll have your spirit boxes loud enough to where you can't hear me. I will be asking you questions as if you're the ghost. Hopefully you're going to give me answers, and it's going to look like a conversation. The two of you are going to be one person talking to me. The third person, Pat, will be wearing a virtual reality cam. It's going to have a phone in it, and it's going to be generating AI images based off of the EMF, which is ironic because she's been using the EMF meter all night anyway.
We should come back here in the morning so we can look at all the graves.
Okay, fine.
This one.
I love a good cemetery. Oh, I didn't like that. What? I was walking past the graves reading the names and I looked at one that said Richard and it went Richard.
Oh wow.
Oh, I didn't like that. Spooky. I just heard get back here.
No, we're not Richard.
Richard really wants your attention.
Around as a quick round robin on our own to kind of see what we have going on. You can go with her. Okay. Yeah, you can go in pairs. Just to kind of see if you get any other readings of the location before I pack everything up. So the first time I came in here, I only had two people. I usually start looking for the new space of the year in November, right after Halloween. I only had two folks because it was cold as shit. Everybody else canceled. That's basically how it goes. So we're using minimal tools. You guys get the point. But the young lady using the spirit box, I told her, just tell me whatever you hear. I don't even know who we're looking for in here. We're just testing it out. A lot of ghost tours start or end here. However, what we found is the story that I'm about to tell you isn't even somebody they're even thinking about discussing. But she heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. That night, I was using Jenny's word list. I had the name Tim that showed up on mine. This bust right here is Henry Timrod. He was born in 1828. It's kind of like, oh shit, there's my ghost. That's easy. I kind of already knew his story, but here's the research that I found. I make it nice and short for you guys so we can get to work. Now,
3.5.
oh, that's happy. I'm excited about that. Don't let me forget that number. So Henry is sick through most of his life, and he's a writer. So he's old enough to go fight in the Civil War. It's the 1860s. So he wants to go fight for the Confederate side, so he goes out to the battlefield. His comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home, back here to Charleston, knowing he was a writer, said, go be the voice of the war. They wanted him to write poetry about what was going on. That's exactly what he did. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. He's publishing poem after poem in his newspaper. Pretty prestigious title, in case you're not familiar with the English world, by the way. So a couple of years go by, and he has a son, him and his wife, Katie. But the son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve, and he dies 9 months later. I'm sorry I'm always telling you guys about dead kids, but it's just something that happens with all of these stories. So with that, Henry dies 9 months later, and Henry's not writing as much. So he has another friend. His name is Paul. He's another writer here in town. Realizes he's not publishing as much. He offers him his cottage in Columbia, right in the middle of the state. He says, go get back on track. Katie's parents are here to help her mourn through the rest of what she's going through about Willie. Go get back on track and get back to your, pen to paper. So he goes out there, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, the holder of brief mortality, which translates to modern English of dear person with a short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a bloodstain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, pen in hand. Now, it's a great way for a writer to go. I'll say that from being one. However, we're here because of the blood stain. The tuberculosis on the page looks like a man writing at his desk. That's why we're here. They call it the Blood Book. They show it one day a year at the Charleston Library Society, but you have to be a member to go see it. They only show it on Halloween. You have to be a member, but the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what this page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to them as if they're Henry Timrod. Again, he can't.
Oh, cool.
So the hope here is that he's going to come through. Now,
I also got a 7.5.
holy shit, what's going on with you?
And did you
How
hear
much?
me like coughing before you
Yeah.
Where's your cell phone, by the way?
In my pocket here.
Okay. And what kind of phone do you have?
An iPhone.
Android phones will tend to give off a signal. So that's again what I'm asking. Here is your blood book. So behold our brief mortality, cough, death. Here is your tuberculosis stain.
Oh, wow.
That looks just like a man writing at his desk.
And they have that actual book?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
I will tell you with the images that Pat's about to see, we actually had a toy show up in one of the images in this exact shape. I was able to take this image and make it opaque and overlay it to show them how close it was. Is anybody curious about what that toy was? It was a knitted baby. It looked like somebody like crocheted and knitted like a baby together. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like when they make like figurines out of that stuff? That's exactly what it looked like. So like all of this hair right here almost matched perfectly. Because if you can picture like a crochet and how thick that yarn was, it was creepy. Creepy as hell. And I didn't even notice it at first, because I will show you the pictures that Pat will see before we part ways, but it will also be in your report. So when I pull her visor off, I'll be able to flip through the pictures and show you. And somebody said, that looks like the blood book. And I was like, no way. So I flipped it around so I could see it. Lo and behold, it looked just like the damn blood book. Pretty cool shit. So and then Cricket, I'm going to need you two kind of on standby close to your family member, simply because in the event you guys are speaking too loud, they're going to tap on you. Like, their neighbors will try to use it. So if you're not really hearing most people with headphones that speak loudly, and then when we are done, they're going to tap you on the way. Like, never touch anybody on this bench, so you know that the only family members send you to on your own gear. Tap your shoulder, slide down, and you can see. You two are going to be telling me everything you hear, including yes/no questions. You don't know what I'm asking. So if I ask you if I'm wearing a black vest, I'm expecting one of you to say yes. So again, I'm not going to repeat the history either. I will tell you at the end of this if this was successful, unsuccessful, or slightly successful. It's kind of a balance of all of this. So I'll keep you guys under for 10 to 10 minutes. And this is the only thing that I've timed for my entire night to kind of keep that in mind. Let's see. I think that covers it. So
No.
Requirements.
and civil. I got a large group here tonight. They would like to learn more about you. Let's talk about your occupation. You can even show us pictures. That's tax. You can see whatever you want us to see.
Oh. I'm gonna get back.
Taboo.
What's the image, Pat?
It was a
I am here.
big red streak, and then it went away. And 2 doors.
I know you know.
Did it look like blood by chance?
Yes.
Okay. Henry, I know I'm asking questions that I already know the answers to, but
Value.
we're looking to verify
know.
that you're here. Can you verify that you're here? Can you
Say goodbye.
No, we're not
Suffocated.
doing that. Oh, wow.
It's been hard.
Henry, you want to go straight into how you died? We can do this. Tell us how you died. I don't normally go into this quick, but you're kind of forcing
Earth.
Ask about stream.
What do you want me to ask about, Henry? Be more specific. What's on our word list, Jenny?
Oh, I've had jump, William, Sandy, tell, voice, and voiced.
Henry,
All right.
let's be civil, Henry. Can we be civil? It's a yes, no question.
Life changes.
Jesus is blessed.
Henry, let's get verification.
Final hours.
Let's ask about what sound we just heard out of the church as we got started. What sound did we hear?
Asthma.
That's one of my words.
Stand at the bar.
Henry, did you have asthma? I don't know about this illness if you did.
Ash.
Henry,
Neighborhood.
did you have asthma? That's a yes, no question.
Don't cry.
35%.
What was the percentage?
3.5 is what I
With you.
3.5?
back there.
I want to hear you say.
You really were the best.
Do you want to hear me apologize for trying to contact you and learn about you? Is that what you're waiting for?
Found your body.
Oh,
Farmer of the family.
Go.
She's got to say goodbye and go so far. And I usually ask if you want us to leave, just say the word home. Like that's kind of my key word.
I fill you up.
A dream.
Henry, let's be civil. Let's talk about your work. That's you. That probably was a great thing that you were able to do for people. We've already had this conversation.
New Mexico.
You may feel like I'm exploiting you, but I'm doing the exact same thing that you did. Somebody else who was reading your work. You were informing them of what was happening during the war.
Taxes.
There's no difference between what you do and what I do here. This is not invasive. This is how we learn.
Ignorance.
oh.
How
Told you.
could you know?
I do a lot of research. Henry,
Cricket.
you're famous.
Yeah.
Cricket.
Downward.
What's her name?
It's weird. It's weird that they're not saying anything at the exact same time, though. They keep going back and forth.
She's alien now.
What?
Henry. I'm here to talk about your work tonight.
I'm not
George
sure.
Clooney.
I have, looks like bridges, or red background, like
We are ready to
burning,
rock.
We're the ones.
big tall stick-looking trees.
Give.
Yes, like this on a water, like on a lake. or
Is
something.
Abby.